One way to sum up the weekend for the Tampa Bay Rays. Not great, Bob.
No, not great, Bob. Not great, Kevin. Not great, anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your very first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Well, the Tampa Bay Rays lose the weekend series at home against the Minnesota Twins, including, I believe, getting outscored by a combined score of 18-4 in the final two games. So really two clunkers on Saturday and Sunday, if you want to look at it like that. It is a Monday, which means we have our weekend takeaways and observations. Ulises, what do you have?
My brain is too disorganized after that series to have a weekend takeaway. So bear with us, people. We're going all over the place. At least I am.
You're going all over the place. I've sort of. Hey, we will also preview the athletics series as well. So go ahead and go off, I guess.
Man, it's tough trying to watch the game as a fan and also try to understand the reasoning why, because it's easy to watch as a fan. It's the easiest thing. You can just relax, have your Fangraphs open, your Savant if you want, or just a beer, whatever, right? But when you try to go in depth, then you start to get into the intricacies and the gray area of why the moves are made and all that. Preamble aside, this team needs to score more runs. It needs more offense. It's 80% of their losses, they've scored 3 runs or less.
Yes. It seems like they'll have a game where they score 8 or 9, and then the next 4 games they score 2 or 3.
So that has to be addressed. And honestly, it's not like, oh, well, you just get this guy. You have the firepower in your lineup already. The issue is that the guys you should be counting on the most, because you should be counting on every guy in that clubhouse because they're all professional and they all play this and do this for a living. However, some are more apt at that than others. I do expect more from Randy Arozarena than Josh Lowe. I do expect more from Brendan Lau than about most other guys. I do expect more from Mike Zunino. Those 3 guys have been completely shut down. Completely. I mean, if you look at OPS plus, 76 for Brendan Lau, horrible. Randy Arozarena, 70, horrible. Mike Zunino, a -4. I don't think I've seen an OPS plus in the negatives before. This needs to change quick. I don't think that this is a DNA characteristic of this team. I've preached patience. I think we still should be patient, and it's going to turn around. But it's frustrating right now.
It really is. And if Wander Franco is out of the lineup, you might as well just forget about it. You might as well just say, hey, we're probably going to lose this game most likely. And who knows? You hope that, what does he have an issue now with? Hamstring. Okay, before it was a quad, now it's a hamstring. You hope he's able to get on track. And also adding to the issues of the offense, G-Man Choi just went on the IL. And Francisco Mejia is still on the COVID list. And when Mejia gets back, he's a really, really good hitter from the catcher position. It might take him several days, several games, at least a week to get back into the fold and get back into being comfortable. So outside of Wander Franco, again, we do have to preach patience, which is kind of my weekend takeaway and observation, which we'll get to later on. But we haven't had one guy get to 100 at-bats yet. So there's still a lot of baseball left. Having said that, Brandon Lau still has a 575 OPS. Randy Arozarena still has a 556 OPS. Josh Lowe, who was just sent down, has a 601 OPS. Manny Margot has a 604 OPS. What do those guys have in common? They have the most at-bats of anybody in this lineup outside of Wander Franco, who has the most at-bats. I mean, everybody else in that, those are the guys that you're giving the most opportunities to because you expect them to produce, and they're not producing, and that's a big problem.
Exactly. I mean, there's a hierarchy of people that you can count on, that you can lean on with the offensive production, and the guys that you should be getting the most out of are not really doing that at all. And I understand illnesses and IL stints and soreness and short spring training, which has honestly bled into April becoming kind of an extended spring training for all clubs. Right. If I'm being completely honest, at least that's how I see it. But which, then you can say, well, if every team has taken it as extended spring training, sort of, then it normalizes it. So you can say that too.
It's funny because the Rays actually, if you look at their offensive categories, they're sort of middle of the pack or better than middle of the pack in on-base percentage, slugging, hits, home runs. I mean, it's pretty average, but runs scored is tied for 17th. And it's just not very good as of right now. And again, you compare this offense right now to what the Rays had last year, and it's night and day. And it's where this offense seems on average at best, if you want to characterize it that way, compared to last year. It's like, wow, you're really, really, really taking a step back, which makes it even more unfortunate when you let go of a Joey Wendell who is killing it in Miami. You let go of an Austin Meadows who is killing it with the Detroit Tigers. You don't find a replacement for the right-handed bat of Nelson Cruz, who, he probably didn't quite live up to the expectations in a Rays uniform. But at the end of the day, he had a 102 OPS plus. Regulars for the Rays, and he also got hurt during that point, replacing, whether it was going out and getting Tommy Pham, Avi Garcia, or Jorge Soler, somebody that can step up and provide some insurance and protection for Wander Franco. So it is really, really disappointing right now, I would say.
But I understand where you're coming from. But the issue is that guys that are already wearing a Rays uniform and have worn a Rays uniform are not producing. So yes, you're right. Those guys left, Joey Wendell, Austin Meadows, and nothing really came back for them in a established player. But the established players that were already there are not really producing. I mean, we can live in a world where Harold Ramirez with 33 at bats has a higher OPS than basically take your pick, Kevin Kiermaier, Manny Margot, Brendan Lau, Randy Rosarena.
But to the point, I don't think nobody in their right mind, the Rays included, could have said Mike Zunino is going to put up what he put up last year. Brandon Lau is going to put up what he put up last year. Randy Rosarena, as much, look, he's a dynamic player, but he hasn't yet gotten his 18 games against the Orioles yet. So I don't know.
I feel like that's how.
And you're swapping Josh Lowe for Austin Meadows.
We've called that there will be an offensive dip in 2022. I literally think that's actually kind of one of our episode titles of this year. But yes, having said that, we're not really expecting Randy Rosarena to come back to earth this way, right? We're not really expecting Brendan Lau to just live Groundhog's Day October forever now, right? Because
but now it puts more pressure on them when you basically insert 3 rookies into the place of the guys you're replacing.
That's the point. That I'll give that to you, and you're 100% right. That's the issue. Now Brendan Lau has more pressure, and Kevin Cash keeps putting him first in the lineup. Are we sure that's the most optimal way of using a Brendan Lau who is hitting literally 180? That has an OPS of 575.
Yeah, although he's shown a history of when he's been in the leadoff spot that he has done good things. Who do you put in that spot instead?
Bleeping anyone. Let's take the pressure. This game is so mental, man. When something is not working, you can't just put it out there doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That is literally insanity. You have to move it around a little bit. I mean, get creative. You've got try Taylor Walls. I don't particularly like what I'm seeing from the glove of Taylor Walls. The bat's been playing okay. Put him in there in the first spot. Try that out. Try Manny Margot in the first spot. give Brendan Lau a little bit more of a respite. Let him see a little bit more pitches from the pitcher before he's up there. I don't know, something.
It seems like you have more to rant on. I will, step back from my takeaways and let you roll if you want, if that's the decision that we want to go with this. But first, we got to tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs, as well as the start of the MLB season. BetOnline, it is your continued source for all your sport wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. So head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Ulises, do you have more to rant on?
A bit more.
Okay, go ahead. The floor is yours, sir.
I know we've been digging into Brendan Lau a little bit, so let me dig into another guy, Randy Arozarena. Dude, he has been quiet, except for, I know, his 2-for-4 performance during the last game.
Yeah, garbage time.
Thank you.
Again, it's I hate to. I know it's people piled on me, but he put up some big numbers in garbage time against the Orioles last season. Garbage time, Randy.
But you can't say that about Randy, because literally October 2020 and October 21,
2 years ago. Yeah,
in October 2021.
Okay.
So we can't give him that label, but I understand where you're coming from. Now, 2 for 29. I think he was 2 for 29 before he went on that 2-for-4 performance. Like, just the cast of characters around in that lineup right now are really struggling. And so right now, that's why you need a little bit of a different feel. And that's why I think that calling Isaac Paredes might be a great addition right now.
But again, he's still a rookie. So we have to, and if he goes, 2 for 25, then what do you do then?
No, that's an issue.
Option?
But I feel like you have to introduce new things. That's why Brendan Lau at the top of the order. You try to change it up a little bit. It wasn't a horrible April going 12-10, or wait, actually no, 12-9 in April. It wasn't a horrible April. I don't think so.
No, I mean, considering all the pitching injuries that they've had to deal with, like you should actually kind of be optimistic if you're a Rays fan that their head is above water as of right now, because they've got like so many guys that they rely upon on that pitching staff that are out for the count right now. And again, you only expect that. Yes, it is a young team, and they're going to go through their lumps right now. Josh Lowe, for example, Taylor Walls, for example, defensively. I think this is going to give them another 3-4 months, and it'll be, wow, where was this team back in April? I think we're going to see some of that. I think there's going to be a lot of growing pains April, May, and possibly into June for this team.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think patience on the production is definitely the way to go for a fan. And also, it's not only that, but extracurricular activities are also kind of, hampering the team right now. I mean, with COVID, Yandy, I know, missed a couple of days. He didn't really have symptoms or anything like that. Mejia has been missing, which obviously Rene Pinto has been doing just fine.
Too. I mean, they had coaching staff, brand new coaching staff over the weekend. That can't help.
That can't help. I mean, when Kyle Snyder goes up there, Shane McClanahan listens, and Josh Fleming. I'm not saying that they're not going to listen if it's not Kyle Snyder, but there's a different mentality there. Obviously, with the rapport of a human being, it's not the same. Like, just if you have a supervisor and then some other supervisor from another team tells you what to do, or you might not take too kindly or the same way. I would think, at least that's in the office world. So I feel like a lot of different things are conglomerating into this 2022 result of being a 12-10 team on May 2nd. And it's frustrating, but I'm with you, man. I think that just because it's frustrating right now doesn't mean that this is the team. I mean, it's been 14% of the season. Yeah. And you keep seeing things on. I got to step away from the Twitter world, man.
Yeah, just get off Twitter. That's really what we all should be doing.
Yeah, we should all just be logging off Twitter forever. But because the people that are just saying banalities, and I'm saying banalities out of respect for everybody's ears.
BS.
My goodness. Have you watched baseball before? It's not even 14% of the season, and they just want to categorize this team for something that they've seen 14% of the season. Have you not watched baseball? Have you never seen a guy hitting 206 on June 2nd, then hit 290 at the end of the year? Have you never seen the September of 2011, 9 games back and coming back all the way in the last day of the season? I mean, have they not seen the Washington Nationals in 2019 go 19-33 and win the World Series? People, let's take a breath.
Yeah. Although what bothers me the most, again, big picture here, is that you had a team that won 100 games and you changed the dynamic of that team big time. And I know the Rays that's what they do. They make the roster moves, but to save a couple bucks and not, I don't know, maybe hindsight is 2020, but you lost a couple all-stars offensively. I think that's big. And I think that just this idea to expect Josh Lowe to come in and produce like Austin Meadows would produce, especially right off the bat as a rookie, is almost a fool's errand. I mean, if you look at, and part of it, I guess, in getting sent down was because the roster was, converted from 28 men to 26 men. He'll definitely get another opportunity to get called up again. But he had never seen pitchers like he's seen at the big league level, like four seamers up, some of the swings that he's, I mean, he doesn't have a hit. I looked this up because I was curious about this. He doesn't have a hit. Well, he doesn't have many hits this year, but he doesn't have a hit on a pitch above 93 miles per hour.
Yeah, no, it's an issue. It's an issue, man. And again, that's why we're preaching patience, because he should make that adjustment later on.
And he's actually a really good thing to see. But Taylor Walls isn't a third baseman. He's a shortstop being forced to play third base and second base and sometimes short. The throws are different. And we can look at the stats and say, oh my gosh, how many errors does Taylor Walls have? Well, we can subtract one of those for the one that went into G-Man Choi's glove and came out. Yeah. And yes, he should have gotten credited for the error on the one hopper to Yandy Diaz, but any first baseman worth their salt should be able to scoop up a one hopper. But I think that, again, he has 72 regular season games to his belt.
Yeah. No,
he's played shortstop his entire life, and now you're telling him to move around from one spot to another spot. All the while he's trying to hit at the big league level and replace an all-star and do the switch hitting thing. It's not very easy.
It's not an easy thing to be asking. And by the way, you're asking him to change to third and second on a whim.
Without really knowing,
at the big league level, like at the biggest level. Hey, can you actually do second now? Thanks. Yeah. It's like, actually, I won't have the orange Fanta. Can I change that to grape? Thanks.
It's like the person that goes to a restaurant and makes a bunch of change orders. It's like it's really annoying, quite frankly.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you what you don't have to do and change your order is when you go to built.com.
Yeah.
Because when you go to built.com, there are so many delicious flavors that you won't pick wrong. Really, you really won't. So you go to built.com and you want these Built bars because they're healthy and delicious. They're healthy because they're mostly 130 to 180 calories. And they're delicious because they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Yeah, that's it. Real chocolate. So you go to built.com, you get all the flavors that you want, and you're going to use promo code LOCKED15. Why should you use promo code LOCKED15? Because it's going to save you 15% off your order at built.com. So today, go to built.com. Get all your Built Bars flavors, all your favorite ones. Hit promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off at built.com.
Yeah. Also some perspective here. The Rays 12-10. The Red Sox are 9-14.
Thank you.
Now the Yankees and Blue Jays are picking up the slack, 16-6 and 15-8 respectively. But we still have 140 games.
Again, 14% of the season. That's all we've seen. 14%. Let's keep that into perspective. People are trying to I'm not gonna call him out by name, but I got a DM.
It's
saying,
like failing a student. It's not even September 4th yet.
Yeah, so I got a DM saying, well, how long until we gotta cut Fleming out?
Well, I think
let's play some good defense behind him.
Yeah, that certainly doesn't help. Especially, honestly, I will give him a break for like the next 4 starts after he was treated so poorly with that defensive performance a week ago.
Yeah, and then in the week before that too. Remember,
Yeah.
wasn't it against the Oakland Athletics too?
And when you're a pitch to contact guy, I mean, you might internally think I got to change up my strategy because I don't know if I can really trust these guys behind me right now.
Right. I mean, Rangers were booted a ball. Kiermaier dropped it in the outfield. That was Josh Fleming on the mound. And then last time, same thing happened with him on the mound. And then this time, the same thing. So it's been 3 games of shoddy defense behind a contact pitcher, like you're saying. And, I got a DM saying, well, how long? Dude,
unless all the Rays players really don't like Josh Fleming and they're trying to sabotage him and send him down to AAA or something, but I don't think that's the case.
No, it also okay, who do you call up?
Robert Duggar.
Exactly. The depth of this team has been tested quite early and strongly, and I don't think the Rays are coming up to the measure that they needed to go.
We can call up Yarbrough. Oh, wait, we can't do that yet. We can call up Patino. No, we can't do that yet. Shane Baz? Nope.
Nope.
Tyler Glasnow?
Nope.
Yeah. Yanni Chirinos?
Nope.
Yeah, I can just go
Wait,
on and
JT Chargois, though?
Can we? No.
No. Oh, wait. Okay, got it. Pete Fairbanks?
No.
Nick Anderson?
Nope. Yeah. You're running out of names there. Robert Duggar.
Yeah.
That sounds like a serial killer, by the way. The Duggar Files. Robert Duggar came and pitched in 5 innings and murdered 6 people.
I liked how Cash called him Dougie to
Yeah, Robert Duggar. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Javi Guerra. The depth has been tested quite quickly.
They just signed. Who did they add? Somebody named Bowden. Ben Bowden or something like that. They're calling up guys that nobody's ever heard of that had like 7 ERAs and triple
Which,
A.
by the way, the Rays are the best at finding that type of talent and making them succeed. But just because they're the best at that doesn't mean that their accuracy is 100%. They're gonna fail. They're gonna find guys that they think something's gonna go off, and it doesn't because they're not perfect, because they're not machines. The Rays front office is not machines. And these pitchers are not machines. So, having said that, it's the depth has been tested quite heavily.
Right. And I think they got a little bit too cute. But again, still early, but giving the money to Brooks Raley instead of Colin McHugh. Whatever. Anyway, let's move on. The Rays, after all this, begin a 9-game road trip on the West Coast.
Woof.
No less. Not easy. And their first 3 games are against the Oakland Athletics, who are 10-12 on the season. And you know what? I am going to save my jokes about the Oakland Athletics and
I would appreciate it.
Lousy of a team they're supposed to be this year. After what the Athletics did to the Rays at Tropicana Field about a month ago, less than a month ago. Even though they're 27th in OPS, I mean, their pitching staff, their starting pitching staff actually is held up pretty strong. But despite this team being very milquetoast, the Rays at points right now are very milquetoast as well. So it could be a toss-up to see how this series goes.
I know we were supposed to do this season preview, this series preview, but I'm just looking at the schedule right now, and this West Coast trip's got me.
It's like the kryptonite. West Coast road trips aren't easy for a team.
It was the worst of times at the worst time. It's not even, it's the A's who just saw and they basically had their way with the Rays. They did. Let's be honest. Then you go to Seattle. They never play well there. They kind of had 2 very close games that they won. Can you pull that off again?
Their teeth.
And then the Angels, who are not the Angels of the past. They have a better pitching, better bullpen, and they have healthy sticks right now. So,
don't be surprised if the Rays go 3-6 or 2-7 in this road trip.
I don't want to say it, and I'm not going to be responsible for those words. But I'm just saying I'm nervous about what this road trip will kind of change the Rays' perspective on the season.
And you hope that, the Rays can't really afford another injury. If Wander has to go down for an extended period, oh my gosh, just pack up. I don't know. And it's funny. I joked about the Athletics, and again, their lineup. I'm not going to say anything. It doesn't. Let me put this nicely. it doesn't jump out to the eyes like the Angels lineup would, or portions of the Angels lineup,
Very well
or
said.
the Blue Jays or the Yankees or whatever it may be. But let's remember, when the Athletics won 3 out of 4 at the Trop, they scored 13, 8, 4, and 6 runs in those 4 games. One thing that I'm sure of is that attendance will be poo-poo in this series.
Yeah, like I mean, I've seen the numbers. They've had like 3,000 people there, man. Like worse than the Rays.
They had an official attendance figure not too long ago of 2,703.
Man, that's worse than the Trop.
Yeah,
like by double. I remember.
More people go to USF baseball games.
Woof. That's sad, man. Now, look, it's sad, but like I get what the fandom is doing. The fandom is just reacting to poor ownership, not crying poverty instead when they're not poor, and dismantling the team every 3 years and not having any real success in the playoffs. Which I know it can seem like, oh well, the Rays are the same. Well, the Rays have had more success in the postseason, and the Rays have had, I think, a little bit less turnover than the A's have, but. I mean, what they did to this team. Why would the fans show up?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you no longer can put banners outside the stadium of Matt Olson and Matt Chapman, and instead you put out Tony Kemp and Sean Murphy, it's
Chad Pinder.
Yeah, there's not much there.
And season tickets, I believe. I heard this from Jason Burke, the host of Locked On A's. He actually said that the season tickets had increased in price for this season. For the Oakland A's. Can you believe that? We're dismantling the whole team. And
our product is getting worse and we're charging more.
That's the consumer of 2022.
Basically.
Yeah.
Over under 20,000 combined fans across the 3 games.
Under.
Yeah.
Easy under.
Because let's consider, yes, the Athletics have the worst attendance in baseball. The Rays are 28th in attendance. That doesn't really matter. My point is that
they're not a popular team.
Yeah, the Rays the Angels. So that's going to be, I want to see kind of a skyscraper view of the stadium there. I mean, not going to be pretty. So it looks like the pitching matchups are going to be Drew Rasmussen versus Dalton Jeffries, somebody named TBD. We've heard that before. TBD versus Paul Blackburn, not Pete Blackburn, Paul Blackburn, giving him his respect. And then Corey Kluber versus Frankie Montas.
Is TBD the Rays MVP of the staff?
Possibly, if you look at the bullpen, the guys who've picked it up. And Robert Duggar, that's TBD for you.
Look, I'm hoping. Who's DFA'd?
Phoenix Sanders, TBD.
I'm hoping just Drew Rasmussen to keep up with the last time
he had a good start
performance.
Last time,
really nice. So 6 strong innings, a bunch of strikeouts. He actually got whiffs. He actually got chases. So that's a really good sign. Hopefully more things to come. So just Drew Rasmussen, that's the whole thing for the series. I think if he has a good start, then you can. That's a
good tone setter. And then on the back end there, Corey Kluber, who was fantastic and has been fantastic for the Rays. And I mean, when Kluber's throwing 6 innings and it only takes him 70 pitches to get there, it's impressive stuff. So, so we'll see. I am staying away from making predictions on this series. Go out there and do your best, guys.
Let's go get it, guys. Yeah.
That's the way we got to approach it. All right. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your very first listen every day. Now make your second listen the Locked On MLB podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.